Alright, welcome back everyone. So in this video I'm going to break down my previous 4 hours long live stream where I was studying some animals. So basically I'm going to build up my visual library, and specifically I want to start understanding how animals are put together, how you can actually use them to put them into your drawings, into your whatever you're trying to create. So I decided to draw some pigs, some horses, and some elephants. And I'm going to explain the process of what I was trying to achieve instead of just copying, because when you're just copying, you're not actually really learning all that much. And as I'm saying that, I'm looking at the screen. The first drawing, it's supposed to be a pig, but it's starting to. It looks like a dog almost. So that just goes to show how terrible that turned out. The second one you're looking at is a little bit better, I guess, because I warmed up a bit more. What I'm trying to do is I'm thinking about the action line. I'm thinking about volume. I'm thinking about basic shapes that if I was to build this pig as like a little prop, and I had shapes to use, such as cylinders, spheres, cubes, rectangles. If I was to put them together and start turning it into this pig-like shape, what would I do? So basically, I'm constantly trying to think about the volume. That was just a little joke drawing. So here's another example. So here I'm trying to draw some horses. Once again, I tried to put some action lines down, some rhythmical lines down, and then I tried to figure out the shapes that make up the head of the horse, the neck of the horse, where the eye socket is sitting compared to the I should say the right eye socket, and then how it's all connected to the neck, the shoulder muscles, how the legs are constructed. Basically, I am looking at the images, and then I am trying to figure out what shape makes sense to draw, and then connect it to the shape that's next to it, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much how I do these drawings, because if I was to just look at the horses, for example, or the pigs or the elephants, and just draw what I see, first of all, it's gonna look flat. It's gonna look more flat than my flat drawings that you guys are looking at. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm not actually understanding. So in understanding is more important than trying to just copy. Once again, the whole point of understanding is so that you could build your mental visual library. And eventually, say like I keep practicing drawing horses and breaking them down into shapes, I'm eventually going to be able to take those shapes and create my own fantasy horses and put them into my own drawings. And that's how the great artists in the past did it anyway. So it's an age-old technique. It works. It's painful. It's not easy to do, but nothing that's worthwhile comes easy. So here is my third attempt. That was just a little Batman sketch that I was showing my stream. They were asking me about how I would go about copying other concept artists or fantasy artists that I admire, and I said it basically it's the same process how I treat live drawing. I basically look at their work and I try to break down their work into shapes, why their work makes sense, why it looks so good, what it is about their work that keeps capturing my attention, and then I try to break that down into shapes so that I can start digesting and understanding what goes through their mind when they're actually designing, so that I could start picking up on those design cues. Here is the third page where I am going through some elephant sketches. It's the same idea. I put the action lines down, some rhythmical lines. I try to look at the negative space, and I try to put volumes into every single part, every single limb of that elephant, and then I would look at all the how the shapes are actually basically how many different curves come out of it, and I try to imagine what, where the bones are, where the muscles are. Not that I understand the anatomy of these animals, but you could still relate them. You could still relate them to how humans are constructed. And here is another one. This is more of the close-up of, basically it's like the head of the elephant that I'm focusing on. Another tip that I could share, which I am also working on personally, is constantly finding rhythm in my studies. How things rhythmically connect with each other, how they relate to each other. I do that because you can find rhythm in nature. It's just about everywhere, and over time, the more you practice, the more you capture these things, the more you understand how everything is put together, the more it starts to influence your personal work. And when you have rhythm, when you have strong rhythm in your own drawings, it starts becoming more energetic, and more energetic drawings just feel a lot better to look at. You could look up some of Disney's sketches, for instance, and immediately, whether it's highly stylized or a little bit more realistic, they all feel very, very good because they're full of energy. And it's the same thing. Every single artist that worked on animating characters for Disney, or they were character designers, they all have a very strong life drawing background, basically studying from life. That's really the secret, studying from life, from God's beautiful world. There's that's a little baby elephant. So since this video is about to be wrapped up, I want to just mention another thing. Is I was trying to avoid shading. I only put a little bit of basically a tiny bit amount of shading going through. My bad. Here is another example of me demonstrating how I would look at somebody else's artwork if I wanted to study it, and I would break it down into shapes before I built that character, so that I could understand that artist's incredible influence. What I'm trying to say is I was trying to purposely stay away from shading, because shading hides your mistakes. It's better to focus on volume, on shapes, how things are connected, on rhythm, on perspective, and with just a hint, a little bit of, just a bit of a hint of how, where the form is turning. I apologize, I had to really fly through this video because it's, I sped the video up way too much. I should have slowed it down a bit. But hey, if you made it this far, please let me know what you think about all this and what you took away from it, what I could do to make better videos, and hopefully, I'll see you next time. But that's it. Thank you so much for sticking around, and God bless you. Bye.